Hey, Ashley here. I am so excited today to share with you an overview of the process and the system that I've used to create passive sales every single day. And not only passive sales, but a sales funnel that leads to members, one-on-one clients, and unlocks the doors to all of my funnels. So if you're here, I know you're interested in doing the same. Imagine waking up every day to sales notifications, knowing that your expertise is working for you, even when you're not working. And that's the transformation that this guide can start for you. I'm going to walk you through because I know some of my students are more visual learners. So if you're ready to step into this new chapter where you are building a scalable passive income system that works in any niche, then let's dive in together and I'm going to show you what has worked for me after years of testing and refining. And I'm going to give you a huge shortcut with your guide. Okay, hopefully I'm out of the frame of your guide and you can have this printed out next to you. You can watch this without printing it out, totally up to you. But this is literally how I built a high converting digital product funnel. In fact, more than one, but the same system is used for several funnels. So there's something that we need to talk about, and that is how much the online space has changed, how much our economy has changed. And truly, if I've said it once, I've said it a million times, the market really dictates what you can price your offers at. So whereas I could have priced one of my courses at say $9.97 in 2020 or 2021, today that is not going to fly off the shelves like it would have at that time. It doesn't mean that there's less value, but our strategies have to change to adjust to the marketplace. That's just part of being an entrepreneur. And so when I realized that there were such big shifts happening that I needed to make a pivot, I started testing out what would be the best, most high converting front end product. And I tried all different types of price points from 97 to 147 to 297 to 7, all kinds of things. But the one thing that I found is that a very, very highly valuable front end digital product that solves a specific problem for your ideal client is what works best. You have to get over the hump of feeling like, oh, it's worth so much more. It doesn't matter. Your goal here is to allow your potential customer, to allow your audience to get to know, like, and trust you without a huge upfront investment. People are being very much more like discriminate about what they're purchasing these days, which is a great thing. However, we can't be fooled into thinking that low ticket equals low value. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Going to our next page, the one product that across multiple niches, now that I even look back to my mommy blogger days back in 2016, I built an email list of over 10,000 subscribers using a digital toolkit. Now, that was a freebie, but the same has been true today. I got the idea and I thought, why am I not doing a paid digital toolkit as my front end product when I know that that's something that is highly desirable, put together in the way that I teach? So I highly recommend, you do not have to do this. You can throw it totally out, but creating a low ticket, low cost digital toolkit to solve that hyper specific problem as your front end product, because this is going to build you a list of buyers versus creating endless free. It's going to position you as an expert in your niche. And the cool thing is, this then unlocks the door to the rest of your funnel, to the rest of your offer suite, whether you have other digital products, whether you have mid ticket, higher ticket, whatever it is, that front end product really is the key. And so that's why I just say, please skip the guesswork and please create a low ticket digital toolkit. I would suggest following exactly the structure in this guide. Save yourself the time, refer to this guide. I've spent a lot of money and a lot of time to learn how to do this. And I don't know if you can see this, I'm going to zoom in, but passive income to me means you create something one time and then you sell it over and over and over and over again. And you can wake up with sales notifications. You can go to sleep for a nap and wake up with sales notifications. It doesn't require you to be working. So for example, this is, a $22 order that ended up, this is one customer. I didn't want to reveal their email, but $22, 17, 97, 47, 97, 97, and that's a membership subscription, which is monthly. So there is a way to create a thriving sales funnel with low ticket digital products. And so that's what I'm really excited to be able to teach you how to do, because I get to now share my offers with more women. They're more affordable. And so that gets me excited. So let's keep going. Okay, so I think I already went over step one, and that's to create your irresistible front end low ticket product. So that's the first step in the process. And again, this can be for any niche. And the important part about this is you're going to be getting paid for building your business. So whether you have a huge audience or you have a small audience, what you're doing is getting action takers onto your list who you can then launch other products to on the back end. So this is extremely important. One of my the most high converting, I should say, digital product I have is the brand and online business toolkit. And as I mentioned before, this is what really sets the stage. And I would not skimp on perfecting this part, because if you can't unlock the door to the rest of your funnel, it doesn't really matter, right? And so we want to get this dialed in. And even more important than that is the above the fold section on your sales page. So I do have a free audit. If you click that link right there, there's an above the fold sales page audit for you, which I myself use for all my sales pages. You need to have certain components shown before someone is even willing to scroll. And so you can use mine for reference, but this is going to give you a much more detailed look. If you take a look at this low ticket online business bundle, you'll see this throughout the guide. You will see that one of the items included is my sales page in a snap templates, and that is specifically designed to be highly converting for low ticket digital products. The most important things that you need to dial in first before passing go, if you haven't already, is to have a high converting front end offer. And part of that is the sales page that you sell your offer with, especially if you decide that you want to run ad campaigns to cold traffic. That passive income marketing style is very different than marketing to people who are your warm audience who know you. You need to master the ability to speak to people who don't know you at all, and then people who do know you, and have it resonate with both. It's so important to this process. So moving on, the next thing that you're going to do is to add an order bump. So once you've got that front end product in place, the next step is to create an order bump that's generally going to be a little bit lower price than your front end product. So for example, on the brand and online business toolkit, my front end digital toolkit is $22, and then the order bump is $17. That pricing, if you want to just copy it, it converts incredibly well. I need to do an update, but the last I checked, which was back in October 2024, my conversion rate, so the industry standard is between 10 and 30% conversion rate for an order bump. Mine is actually at 60%. It's probably above, which is insane. So for every order that comes in at 22, more likely than not, it ends up as $39. And that can make a huge difference if you are running paid traffic. Something really important here, and for the rest of this really mini course I'm giving you in creating a low ticket digital product funnel, is that your order bumps and your upsells and all of these pieces need to be in addition to the result that your front end product is promising. It can't be, oh, you need this to get the result. You need to be able to get them the result, the big idea of that front end product, with just that. The order bump is something that can enhance that, can add to that. It's not you need this in order to get the result. Okay. You may already have something that you can add on, but something that's going to add value and then add value to your average order, add value to your cart. And the reason that this works is because if someone is already in buying mode, they are at checkout, they're going to be much more likely to say yes to a deal. Basically, you're going to price this in a way that if someone were to purchase a la carte by itself, they would have to pay a higher price. So for example, mine is Elevated Social Media Planner, which is a comprehensive system for organizing and planning content. And so that is in alignment with creating a brand and an online business, but it's an addition to. Now, normally that would be a higher price a la carte, but as an order bump, it's only 17. So that's an example of that. A lot of times, effective order bumps, what I have seen are things like PDFs, workbooks, guides, templates, something that's going to expedite someone's results. So make it faster for them. Maybe chat GPT prompts, things like that, that are going to get them the same result, but faster or bigger or something along those lines. All right, the next step in building out your low ticket funnel is to build out a one-time offer upsell. Now, do not try and do all of this at once. Do this step by step. Now, if you're someone who already has a high converting, maybe it's even a freebie right now. Can you beef it up? Can you add more depth to it and make it a paid front end offer rather than recreating the wheel? Do you have something that you can add as an order bump that also sells really well that you could maybe decrease the price on and add it as an order bump to increase your average order value, offset ad costs, and also add more value and more exposure of what you have to offer to your customer? So what I do in my funnel, and this is different than some may teach, but what works extremely well for me. And by the way, I use Kajabi for all of this. If you do not have a platform for building out all of your funnel, I highly recommend Kajabi. And in fact, I need to add into this. If you're watching later on, I'm going to add in a link to that because I have a link that will give you a 30-day free trial rather than their normal 14-day free trial. So you can play around with it and see if it works for you. But I know for me, that has been absolutely key to making this process seamless from my end and then also from the customer experience. And it's all in one place, which is nice. And it gives you the capacity to do all of this, right? So to create the order bumps, the upsells, the downsells, the whole thing, it makes it possible rather than piecemealing it. And I just have really found it super, super user friendly. And I'm not super techy. I need things to be intuitive, let's say, when it comes to tech. So price point, I recommend that you price this between 97 and 197. So your one-time offer upsell is going to be on your thank you page. So they've purchased your toolkit, they've added the order bump or not, and then they get a thank you page letting them know the next steps, that their delivery is going to be on the way via email to reach out to you if there's any issues, leaving your email. But then you're going to give them a one-time offer on that thank you page, which they can then continue on through your funnel. And that's how I have it set up. And so this is going to be something that's, again, related to their desire. So in my case, to build a brand, an online business that stands out and is sustainable. My one-time offer is my signature course, the Passive Digital Product Sales Funnel Lab, but at a funnel only price point on the thank you page. So it's take it or leave it. If they take it, there is, again, more on the back end of that could enhance the results of that goal to create a passive stream of revenue for their brand in any niche. So again, this is going to be enhanced or faster results. This is not going to be something outside of what they can get in the original product. That's really important because then people are like, well, why did I purchase this first thing if now you're telling me I need this in order to get this result? So you really need to dial that in. So let's go over, I gave you some examples here, but let's go over food and baking. I like this example. So an example of where we're at so far in the funnel for, say, someone who is selling they're a pastry chef. Okay, they're a pastry chef, and their front end offer is going to be a low ticket digital product to teach someone how to bake beginner level cakes and desserts. Okay, so the recipes, easy to follow steps, real entry level, but high value. So step by step, there's images, recipes, and then the upsell can be either a course or a masterclass, something that dives in deeper into like the advanced baking techniques. So once they've nailed those beginner level cakes, desserts, got the recipes, then detail work, fondant, cake decoration, fondant. I think that's how you say that. Creating tiered cakes, more advanced. So that could be an enhanced result, but they still are getting the promise of the front end offer. And this again would be a discounted price from what they would purchase this a la carte outside of the funnel, so that it gives that sense of, okay, now is the time for me to order this. This is a one-time offer. And this is really where you see your profits increase. And this is really where it's going to be key If you're running paid ads, if you're not running paid ads, this is just all profit. But if you're running paid ads, this is where you're really going to see your orders cover and more than cover your ad spend like mine does. So this is another example. I don't know if you can see it. You will when you print it off. But this happens fairly regularly. And I'm not spending a huge amount of money on ads, which is the really cool thing, but this is coming from people who I don't know yet, which I think is really important for someone to trust you enough to go from a $22 order to a $480 order within, this usually is about 10 minutes, is amazing. And that has a lot to do with the way that I have the funnel structure set up, as well as that passive income marketing speak, if you will. There's so many nuances to this that either win or lose the sale. And a lot of time it comes down to the copy on your sales pages, the marketing that you do, all of these things, but you also have to have this structure in place. So I don't want anyone to watch this video and think, oh, I just set this up and that's what it is. No, there's a lot of nuance that goes into it, but this is the structure that I truly believe that you need to have right now for a low ticket funnel to work. And so let's go to our next step. Your next step is, once you have a front end digital product that converts, you have an order bump. I'd say if you've sold, depends on your audience size, but let's say you've sold 30 of your front end products and you're getting at least that 10 to 30% conversion rate on your order bumps. Then you're getting some conversions. I think let me double check. Yeah, okay. So for your upsell, the standard for this type of product is 15% conversion for the upsell and then 5 to 10% conversion for a downsell. So this is your one-time offer. So if you're looking at those targets, once you have this dialed in and then you're seeing conversions on your one-time offer, then you can think about adding a downsell. So let's go back to that. So not every customer is going to jump onto your upsell, and that's okay. And that's where you'll want to have a downsell. So there's a couple ways to go about this, and I found success with both ways. So a downsell could be a lower priced alternative to the same product. So typically, again, if your one-time offer, I recommend being between 97 and 197, especially if you don't have a ton of authority built up in your niche, in your industry. So then the lower priced alternative would then be between 47 and 97. So this is going to be offered to customers who say, nah, no, thank you, to the one-time offer. It could be a simplified version of that offer for less, or it could also be a totally different product altogether, but that still aligns with your digital toolkit or whatever you choose for your front end product. And the function of this is to, again, give you a chance to boost your sales and capture that customer who might not be ready for that higher priced one-time offer, but still provide them additional value by giving them something that's too good to say no to and is at a price point that they're more comfortable with at the moment. As I mentioned here, that's going to maximize your revenue per customer, but it's also, and more importantly, for a long-term sustainable business, it's going to continue to build trust and loyalty. And so here I give you visual, and this is actually from my course, Revenue Amplifier. So everything we're going over here is in the Revenue Amplifier course, which is part of this low ticket passive online business bundle. But this is one of the slides where I teach this more in depth and more of those nuances. So this is absolutely the order bumps, upsells, downsells, and cross-selling that we go over in Revenue Amplifier are absolutely how I increase my cart value by 25 to 500% daily. Yes, for real. A lot of people are like, well, you only have a $22 toolkit and you're giving all that value for $22. That's not where you are making your profits in your funnel. That's going to be from having very strategic and helpful upsells, downsells, and cross-selling and mastering that process. Okay, let's go to step 5. Now, your funnel is not going to stop after that buying frenzy. And that's another thing that we talk about in Revenue Amplifier is how to create that buying frenzy that will have someone go from $22 to $480 without knowing you from Adam at first. And then 10 minutes later, they've spent almost $500 and invested with you. your funnel doesn't stop after those purchases. At least you don't want that to be the case. You always want to make sure that you have a next logical step to keep your customer in your world and to continue providing them value when they are ready for the next step. And so that's where you're going to build out your back end funnel, your offer suite. And you're going to, if you want to, you can offer higher ticket group programs, your one-on-one coaching, memberships. These are things that are going to be more like $297 and up. And that's going to be depending on your niche and your audience. So someone's going to be more likely to join your membership once they've had a little bit of a chance to dive into your products. I'm thinking about mine. They have the chance to dive into your products to see your teaching style. And then they think, oh, I want to check out that membership. That's how I enroll members into my membership without launching. That's how I end up enrolling one-on-one clients into my coaching programs without launching. It allows me to then focus on serving my paying clients and refining my offers rather than spending so much effort on launching and marketing. It's not a set it and forget it, because I hate when people say stuff like that where it makes it seem like, oh, it's easy. It's not easy. It requires work to set up all of this. This 16-page PDF requires work, obviously, but then it buys back that time that you spend, buys back so much more time than it takes you to set it up. Trust on that. It's pretty cool. I wanted to say this because I have heard like guru coaches saying, go all in on low ticket. I do not recommend that unless you have the audience size to support that or the cash flow to support that by investing in ads. I recommend a hybrid model until you're able to start to transition into low ticket, especially if you don't want to drop one-on-one or mid-ticket offers. I don't recommend that you do that if you don't want to, but if you do desire to have more of a free calendar, I'm not going to say go all in on low ticket, because that's not going to work unless you have the traffic to support that, because the linchpin to all of this is getting eyeballs on that first sales page, right? So driving traffic to your funnel. And there's lots of ways to do that. I personally use a combination. So I drive traffic to the same sales funnels organically and through paid ads. I do that through my podcast. I do that on Instagram, and I do that through paid ads on Facebook and Meta. And so I do a combination. And that works for me, and that keeps me connected to my audience. I don't ever want to, at least not right now, I don't want to get to a point where I'm just never on social media at all, but I definitely don't want to be on there all the time. And so if that's your desire too, then this is a great business model. If you're going to be spending the time to post on social media, I think you need to have a low ticket funnel set up, because it's just like leaving money all over the table if you don't. So when you're creating content on Instagram, or you're creating your podcast episodes, or wherever you're regularly publishing value added content, if it's driving to your sales funnel, you're setting up business assets every time you post. Okay. And so I highly recommend having this. Even if this doesn't become your number one revenue model, why not have something that you set up once and then creates passive revenue for you over and over and over again? To me, the answer is that makes no sense not to, right? And I wanted to just mention, so in my funnel, this is where I offer up it's still not high ticket. My highest high ticket item in the funnel is $997, and that's for this one-on-one funnel blueprint power session, which is 90 minutes. We go over and plan out your whole funnel and map out your funnel blueprint, and then you have your personalized funnel blueprint, and then you have that action plan. So that's one of the options in my backend funnel. And then also my monthly coaching membership, which is like insanely affordable per month. It is low ticket. It's a low ticket membership, but it's recurring. And so that's monthly sales cancel anytime. And so you can copy my entire model because I'm giving it to you here in this guide. And then, of course, email marketing. I told you this is not simple. There's multiple parts to this, but you must have a solid email marketing strategy all throughout the funnel process. So automations like confirmation emails for your new customers that are effective, abandoned cart sequences, nurture and value emails that check in with your new customers and build trust, or sequences for those who didn't purchase yet. And so all of those things combined are what makes this work like clockwork. So I have email marketing sequences that are up to 90 days. Again, didn't build that out all at once. That's why I don't ever want to sugarcoat it and say, oh yeah, just go set this up, immediately. No, this is something you build out, but it's a huge asset for your brand. A passive income revenue asset is so worth it. And once you get this process down and once you have all of this set up, it is way more simple to duplicate and do it again and again and again. And that's how my members are like, how do you keep coming up with all this stuff? I'm like, well, it's just like riding a bike now, right? You just rinse and repeat. That will be the same for you too. But I know there is that steep learning curve where you're looking at your tech and you're just sitting there, you look at maybe an email sequence like this, you're like, what on earth is this? And that is why I have courses that walk you through more like click by click on these pieces. That's why I offer the membership for my students to be able to come and ask me questions and all of that. And so your email marketing is a big part of this process and a big part of how it is going to be automated and not require you to have sales calls, right? And DMs. I don't do any of that unless it's automated with ManyChat. And that's a huge part of your social media marketing and why I love Instagram and Facebook, because you can utilize ManyChat for automation in your marketing as well. So you literally are not having conversations outside of with your paying clients and serving those who have invested with you. You can't do it all, especially if you're a solopreneur. And I do not have a team. I don't even currently work with a VA because my systems are so dialed in. And with the use of Chat GPT for brainstorming and all these things, I find that my sweet spot is right here where I am. And eventually, if I want to scale up, I guess I could hire a team, but I don't feel with the way that I have my business set up, I don't need to do it. And I have, I'm full time. And so I have all the time in the world. And so much of it is passive now. I'm like, well, what would I have a team do like at this point? And I think that that speaks to the effectiveness of this model if you're wanting that passive income freedom lifestyle. Okay, so scaling your low ticket funnel. So this is the part where I can really help you save a lot of time, because it's going to be regardless for your specific products, your pages, your copy, your marketing, all of that is going to need to be refined. It's going to need to be optimized. You're going to need to look at your metrics. You're going to need to make adjustments accordingly. But you can save a lot of time by setting up everything that you can in a way that you know is going to be work and that you know is proven to work, and then refining after you set up your funnel initially, looking at your data, what's working, what's not. And I think that you need to fall in love with the process of things not working, because the chances of you knocking it out of the park on your first go around is like slim to none. But that's how you become better. The master has failed more times than the beginner has tried. And so I repeat that to myself over and over and over. In the last 2 years of mastering this process, I've had to tell myself that every time I don't succeed, I'm like, well, but that's what's going to get me to success, right? And it has. And so you have to remind yourself, someone who masters something has failed way more times than someone who hasn't tried or who is just a beginner. And they are the master for that reason. So I want to encourage you with that. If it feels like even the 16-page guide, you're drinking through a water hose, or you're starting to set this up, or you're starting to refine your funnel, look at those as opportunities to get really good at what you do, to get better at your craft, to get better at providing your service, your consultation, better at course creation, all of those things. Because with each point of data that isn't working, that's how you're going to get better, which I love that process now. And I was not always a growth mindset person. In fact, as a kid, I literally thought like if I didn't do something perfectly, I was a total failure. And so I didn't try a lot of things because I didn't know if I could be good at it. And now what's required as an entrepreneur is quite the opposite of that sentiment. Is you have to be willing to fail. You literally, it's part of the process, and you have to fail and be sure that you're going to go into something and not know how to do it to ever get to the point where you can build your own successful business. And so I hope if you've heard nothing else from my entire course here is that you hear that. Don't be afraid to start something, not knowing exactly how you're going to get to your end goal. Have your goal. If your goal is a passive income revenue asset for your business, that's your goal. Don't ever change that goal. You may have to change the way that you get there, but you can certainly save yourself a lot of time by setting up your funnel structure in this way. And then I think I've pretty much gone over the summing it all up portion and what I just said, and maybe if not better summary there with what I just said, because that really is the key to this, because most people will let the start stop them. And I don't want that to be you. Just know that to do this whole low ticket passive income online business thing, it's going to take time. It's going to take skill development. It's going to take effort. And there's no way around that unless you just want to slap something up that's not effective. And I know that that's not you. But the beauty of this is you do not have to create this all at once. Start with one step at a time. There's a reason why I have one-on-one coaching containers that are a year long. Not everything that's going to be sustainable can happen in a month, right? And depending on your bandwidth, look at your life. Do you have the capacity to work on your funnel for like 12 hours a day for a few days? Or are you going to need to break that up over some months? So this is all about building out brick by brick that cohesive system that's going to work for you and buy back all of that time and more so that you can enjoy the benefits of passive income and you can just live your life while still bringing in income. It's really amazing, but I will never sugarcoat it and say, oh, it's just easy. It is not easy to set up. And that's why my whole business structure now is supporting women as they do this, regardless of what niche they're in, because sometimes, especially as a solopreneur, it can get a little like lonely, right? We need that encouragement. We need other people around us who are understanding what this journey is like. So I hope that this guides you well. I hope that you will reach out to me and let me know what you're creating, what was helpful from this course, what's helpful from this guide. And I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but I did a literal, this is a very granular breakdown of the low ticket funnel process, including what I feel are the key mindset elements. So you can read through this at your leisure. But these are the things that I would check off that you've done. And obviously, all of these things we go through explicitly in my courses, and they are all included in that low ticket passive online business bundle. Is deeply discounted for those of you who are really ready to just go all in, do the thing. It might seem like a lot of work, but once you've got it in place, it literally works for you around the clock, and you're going to be so stinking glad that you took the time to set this up. So I am rooting for you. I can't wait to hear what you do with all of this. You've got this, and just remember, build brick by brick, because nothing that is sustainable and lasts for a long time, especially or when it comes to business anyway, is going to happen overnight. And so take your time, but don't take too much time, because you can save time by getting the low ticket online business bundle if you would like to just follow click by click the exact process that I've gone over for you today. Or you can also check out the application below for the Low Ticket Freedom Academy that's going to be starting up in 2025. If you are like, I am not a DIY person, I want your coaching, I want the eyes on my copy, I want all the things, apply for that. That's going to be a very, very limited small group of women that I'm going to be working with in 2025. So go ahead, apply, and then I will be in touch with you on next steps. As always, cheers to your impact, and I'll see you around.